When I heard about the concept of the backrooms, I thought it was an idea that came from the power of marijuana. I mean, the concept itself is ridiculous. No clipping? Like the gaming term. Yeah, I used to do that. In the Chinese Counter-Strike called Crossfire. But an office building? Seriously? Why an office building specifically? Apparently because it taps into the eerie familiarity of liminal spaces. The concept of liminal spaces itself is exclusive only to North America due to the decline of mall cultures, suburban neighborhoods, and shared childhood imagery, which is why I cannot relate or have any sense of thought in the movie, because it fails to communicate that atmosphere of what the original Fortune Post is trying to convey that makes it so scary.
I can understand how it would be scary because it's not that I am alone at an unfamiliar place, but the fact that I'm not. Although the concept of it taking place in an office building makes no sense and should not have existed as a trend, although through shared feelings of Americans it did, which brought us flop after slop after slop that gave us more locations that are exclusive only to the US, to the point that the people have already forgotten the original post actually features a monster. But I refuse to expect people to drop down to my level just because I don't have the ability to understand something, which was why, instead of trying to relate with how this movie gives people the sense of dread, I will explain why this movie works despite its exclusivity. The Backrooms is an American thing, like how Godzilla is a Japanese thing. But perhaps that could also expand across the world too. The Backrooms movie is Kane Parsons' own rendition of the concept. It isn't the original, it follows the same idea, but expanded. He is in his early 20s, born in the 2000s, and is depicting a film that's set in the 90s. What he might be doing here is more impressionistic, where he doesn't have the details to live in order to craft from a decade he did not live through, the same way that most liminal spaces are. So impressionistic. A surface read, sure, but a deliberate and emotionally precise one rather than a lazy or uninformed one, which still communicates its atmosphere convincingly. But for someone who is also born in the 2000s and is not from America, the concept of the Backrooms just makes me feel like it's another stoner movie, like Sharknado. But instead, it's a psychological horror as opposed to the it's so bad it's good direction for the concept of the movie. And it being considered a stoner movie by me is not far off. In the movie, when the main character Clark was telling people about the backrooms, they just thought he was onto something. Not like they were interested, but more like they thought he was high on drugs. And one of the first things that Clark sees in the backrooms that he eventually takes is a mirrored stop sign. And if it's spelled backwards like that, reads HOTS.
Man, the power of marijuana.
I swear I was not on anything while watching this movie, even though that would be a surreal experience.
The Backrooms as a series has so much potential because of the amount of surrealist shots and creative cinematography that leaves the director with so much material. But the Backrooms is not just a world that is recreating our own, but the people that found themselves inside it, both internally and literally. As we grow older, we get to choose a branch of possibilities that we could end up in, whether that would be taking architecture or committing your whole life studying the human psychology. Sometimes one is more doable than the other.
Just because you didn't get to be an architect
I am a fucking architect!
And most of the time, we don't get to have those options because of what life throws in the way, which makes people find themselves in a limbo, selling ourselves short in opportunities that comes our way. In the movie, Clark stayed in that limbo until he started finding a world completely separate from his own that accepts him despite his failures and his refusal to change for the better, where his own thoughts slowly eats him until he lets himself get eaten.
But as you walk through life, the untrained mind can start to build walls, put up barriers to protect itself from the outside world. It's a natural response, something we are often unaware of, but if gone unchecked, it can leave you feeling trapped. You can become convinced that the world outside is better off without you, that you never deserve the relationships you've had,